Hey guys, welcome back to another lesson, and in this lesson I'm going to be sharing with you the power of UGC content, aka money posts. So when it comes to UGC, it stands for user generated content. I also refer to these pieces of content as money posts. Now, the reason that I call them that is because they are so extremely powerful for generating sales for your physical product or your service. So why is this important? Well, if you're not using this type of content in the content that you put out on your Instagram page, you're missing out on potential sales. Now, if you don't do this, like I said, you're going to miss out on potential sales, and it's just a great content type that you should use to build a further relationship with your audience. And it's a very light-hearted way to generate sales without really being salesy, because no one wants to be salesy. No one likes to be sold to, but people love to buy. So let's jump right in. I'm just going to go through, to start with, different types of user-generated content and money posts and what they look like, and how you can kind of start to generate and create and get your own. So user-generated content or money post is effectively a photo or a video of someone using your product or service and loving it, or showing the transformation of your product or service. So let's start with Foundr as an example. One thing that we do at Foundr is we sell magazines, and one of our printed magazines is the Branson magazine, and that we give away for free. You just have to cover shipping and handling. So we have found that when we post about that particular edition, it's better to actually show like a post created by somebody. So here's an example here on the screen. We send people a sticker in the mail. We also give them a little card that recommends, which I'll talk you through in another lesson how to do that. But that's an example of a user-generated post. Here's another user-generated post for our book, Foundr V1, where somebody refers to it as the Bible. Like, that's a pretty incredible thing for someone to say that your book is like the Bible for entrepreneurship. If you search under hashtags, you'll be able to find Foundr V1. We've got over 500 people that have reposted their experience with the book. This particular one has done really, really well. If we post it up with other photos, so people post the Foundr book with other photos, can be very, very powerful. Or we can just show people, just outside loving the book. It's very, very powerful, and it's so much better than just saying, buy this product. You can actually talk about that person's experience. You can quote that person's experience in the caption. You can show them loving the product. So that's just one example. Another example would be Kayla Itsines. So Kayla Itsines is a very famous fitness influencer. She's one of the biggest, and here you can see classic example of a before and after. So she has a program called BBG, and you can see before and after, like how extremely powerful this is. Like, you can see, your progress after 12 weeks is amazing. She says you have to want to change to make it happen. If you're ready to make a change, head to the link in my bio to join the Sweat Challenge. It's not too late. So Kayla is the co-founder also of a company called Sweat, which is an app. So you can see how, like, that one image, the before and after, user-generated content, they have, Kayla and the Sweat team obviously have a custom-tailored hashtag called BBG Progress. And you can see, like, wow, they have over 800,000 people's doing before and afters. Like, how incredibly powerful is that? So that's why I call it a money post, because it's so incredibly powerful for people to just get trust that your product or your service works. It's effectively like a public or, a public review of a product that is spread worldwide. It's very, very powerful. Another example of a great piece of UGC content would be for Healthish. We send influencers the product, and they actually go out there and take photos for us in exchange. So here's one example of a video of an influencer that is reviewing the product. She's loving the product. Here's an example of another influencer who's probably just gone for a run. So we have so many people submitting content to us for Healthish, and I'll talk to you about how we actually do that. So one thing that's really, really key is if you can have a photo with the person or a video of the person up close with the photo and the product clearly held or clearly shown, the closer the product is in the photo or the video, or the more visible the product is with its benefits, the better return you will get. So we've found from experience, if somebody takes a photo with the Healthish bottle and they're far away, so it's a more of a landscape kind of shot, and we get an influencer to post it, versus an influencer where you just see a kind of a portrait, more of a portrait kind of image close up to them, and they hold the product, you can clearly see the time indicators, always outperforms. Very, very powerful. So another kind of piece of UGC that you can use is just straight testimonials. So, if I'll show you an example, like this video here, this person is actually reviewing the product and saying, this is incredible. As an example, it would take me too long to find it, but for Foundr, it's like somebody actually did an unboxing, right? They unboxed, opening up the magazine, talking about the experience, talking about the product, how good it was. And that product actually did so well when we posted on Instagram, we turned it into a Facebook ad. So that's another thing to think about. This content that you can use in your paid advertising if it does really, really well. The more native it is, the more real it looks, the better it converts, I've found from my experience. So another thing to think about when it comes to user-generated content is if your product is so good, when your community actually goes out there and actually starts creating a special hashtag or creating content around something because your brand is so iconic, that's when you're like really onto something. So as an example, Glossier, they have a hashtag called Glossier Boyfriends, and also an account now, because like girls love that brand so much. The guys are always there supporting or taking photos or just waiting in line with them or all sorts of things. So it's just a funny thing that it's something to think about, right? Like, how can you tap in to getting people to create content for you, to create user-generated content for you, that it's your brand is so powerful, the products, the services, it's so incredible. As another example, Frank Body, they created a hashtag called the Frank Effect, where I'll show you, I'll just pull it up right now. Pretty much, what happened was they had so many customers posting photos of them with their scrub that they actually created their own hashtag and encouraged people to go out there and like create, not only before and after photos like you can see here, but also, like the influencers with the scrubs, having fun with the scrubs and all sorts of things like that. So that's what you really want to focus on. How can you get as many people as possible to create the content for you, to create those money posts, and then how can you seed it out onto your feed as part of your content strategy? Because it's amazing. That's one less kind of content that you don't have to worry about. As an example, for Healthish, Emily does not create any content. Isn't that crazy? She creates no content, and every day she just looks for content to repost that people have created for us. That's a pretty amazing thing, right? So that's one less thing you have to worry about. So this strategy can be very, very, very powerful if you use it to your advantage. So one thing to think about as well when it comes to UGC is, depending on the product, it might not be as easy. Like for Healthish, it's very, very easy because like a lot of the time we send people the product, which will go through all of that and lay out the whole system and the machine and the framework for that. But it's very, very easy. It's very, very easy to ask influencers to take a photo with the product and all of that. But like, let's just say you have, you know, a teeth whitening studio where you do teeth whitening. Like, to be honest, you're probably going to have to facilitate all of that yourself, where you're going to have to get the person to come in, you're going to have to get them to sign a contract of some sort, or to agree that you'll do their teeth whitening for free, and then you can take before and after photos. Like, there's different levels of how much you can really ramp this whole thing up. I guess the thing I want you to consider when you're thinking and probably getting excited about the power of money posts is it depends on your product and it depends on your service, on what you're asking people to do. So for us with the book or the magazine, we actually incentivize it. So we actually say, if you post, we will choose a random winner every now and again to get a $100 voucher or something along those lines, right? So it depends how you incentivize it as well, which is really important, which we'll talk about in another lesson. So the action item for this lesson is go through the workbook and make sure you come up with 3 to 5 different UGC or money post content ideas around the kind of content and the UGC that you're going to put out and how you're going to actually get that content. And that's it. I'll see you in the next lesson, guys.